Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Birdie Nickens. Do you know that almost anyone can have a taste of narcissism? Yes, almost anyone. Narcissism is most of the social scientists and the studies says that individuals were born with this default in character, which is a character that is totally self-centered. It's a lack of empathy for others, and it's just a driven personality to uh, consume the things that are one likes and desires for themselves on a constant, regular basis. But almost everyone has a tendency to be narcissistic. The reason I'm saying that is most of us are born with the desire to get things to go our way. When we're babies, we cry so we can uh, have some attention or whatever it is that we need, because a lot of times we're always, from the beginning, we're always growing, developing, and learning, and are making assessments about our environment, even at a very, very young age. So, if you are an individual who just constantly thinks of yourself, everything you do is centered and revolves around yourself, there's a high possibility that you have the narcissistic tendencies in character. Not maybe fully like some. What I have learned and discovered is that it takes real self-awareness to include others in or anything that beyond your desire to have what you want. Plus we have these desires to have things. It could be anything from the clothes, excessive wardrobe, fancy wardrobe. Who doesn't love that? And I mean, a few don't. For the most part, we do, but then some of us are frugal, and so we might shy away from it. But basically, we want things for ourselves on a constant basis. And as I always tell you, Abraham Maslow, one of the psychologists of old, ancient, well, not that ancient, says that satisfied need is not a motivated behavior. So our behavior is always leading toward something. And if we're totally satisfied, then we have no reason uh, to do anything. There are no desires to be had. But if you're someone that hardly ever think of someone, to do something for them. And I'm not talking about like when we do things like we have an extra bottle of fingernail polish and this one we just hate, and think, oh yeah, I think I'll give this, I'll donate this to someone. Or if you've got an extra pair of pants and one pair is like, oh, it's kind of lousy in the first place, you made a mistake in getting it, or any items, that you have, and you just kind of say, oh, I'm going to donate this. I'm going to give this to someone or to a charity, then that is like it, that is more of a giving in the way of not really putting a lot in. What do this person like? What do I think would please them? What would they like? And I know a lot of times we're not going to be able to do it for everybody because, uh, I finally decided to, well, not finally, but I've always considered my family, they're high on the list because, my channel is self awareness, family, and the community. And I've always put my family dear to my heart, even though some people may not understand and recognize it. And these narcissistic personalities sometimes may interfere with one, not being able to determine that when somebody reaches out to them, or when someone tries to show them love, or someone consider them, just as a human being or individual with special gifts or something, and but the what I believe what I was trying to say is that for there was something went through my mind, but anyway, narcissism is like is something that we need to kind of be aware of, because if we're not aware of it, then we won't learn how to make preparations to include others in our surroundings, our neighbors, our family. And so it takes a lot of, that's where the thought, where I left off of the thought, where something ran across my thought when I was trying to think of being able to prepare oneself to help others, to assist other people. It could be just a community function where you consider something special that you have. I'm talking about something really nice. And you say, well, this is I'm really good at this, and like me, I like to cook. I love cooking. And I'm pretty good at almost cooking anything that I like. Some things I don't like, I have to practice with those things. But for the most part, I'm pretty good with certain most cakes, but that's with a little help from the Little Rock Cookbook. Thank you, Little Rock Cooks. You're great. I always deviate though. In no disrespect, it's just I've got to do my thing with what I do. I've got to make it mine. So, for instance, if you are gathering or something, you may say, I'm so good at this one. I know that I'm good at it. Not think you're good at it. Now, some people think they're good at stuff. And, I want to be respectful when I say that I've noticed that people who cannot cook real well, they are so generous, and I don't know whether they're generous just as to say to themselves that, well, to have someone say, oh, this is really good, because I've noticed, like I said, that people who are very, very generous a lot of the time, not all the time, sometimes there are people who do excellent work, who are generous with their things that they cook, they share. But the things that you share that are not so good, doesn't have a, or high stamp of approval on those, that's not, that's more in, that could be leaning toward the narcissistic personality. Narcissism is when you are like just you, it's about you all the time, and most of the time it is about us with everyone. There's a lot of talk going on today about narcissistic people, and this talk is like is about them being cruel, and some people are really, really, really cruel, but some people are just liking in awareness that, man, I'm, it's, and like I say, most of us is about ourselves, and that's okay, and, you know, what do you think about it? If you have some people that you've seen that you think are narcissistic, or you think that that tendency has come across yourself, share it. Because like really, I've been I'm really one of those, and I didn't even know it. And so, see, narcissistic people, they do things that most people would consider extremely cruel. And I don't do cruel things to be cruel. But there have been times when I think I've broken a lot of hearts, and I didn't break those hearts just because I could, because I could. It wasn't like, oh, you're expendable. You're not needed or valued. It's nothing like that. It was just lack of awareness. So this is more about awareness of it today. Because like I say, a lot of times we're just simply some things we don't always think about. We don't always think about, who could I, make their day better. Who was there someone that I can make their day better today? And it doesn't have to be everybody. But when you have a really good spirit inside and great intentions, you can reach out to almost everyone by just having a good attitude. Some days your days don't feel so good, and you're not really feeling it. You're not really in it, and so you meet somebody, and somebody may say, "Hey, how you doing?" And you be thinking, get get on with that. I'm not trying to hear that today. I don't give a flip fly who doing what, how you doing, how they doing, how anybody doing, how they do. I don't care. You understand? And sometimes it's like, even for the best of people, because I've always had the best love inside, but sometimes what's inside doesn't come out on the outside. Do you know what I'm saying? And anyway, if you hear me, I want you to make a comment and let me know what you think about it. And it doesn't matter whether your comment is contrary to mine. You still are important, and what you have to say is important too. And I see that's another thing that I had to learn, and I'm unfortunately, as it come late that I'm learning such things. And so I've learned that tolerance, for what other people have to say, that is a really weak area with narcissistic people, with narcissism. Um, it's just, because some of us who are people who spend more time alone, we may appear more selfish and more uncaring, because it's like that person of ourselves, taking care of ourselves, is been such a paramount. It's at the head of the list, and that's with everybody. But with some of us, it's I'm trying to say, I'm not trying to say, I am saying that some people, seeing about other people, it comes natural, so natural for them. And what a wonderful thing. And some of us, we have our times when we see about others, everyone. I don't care. I believe that even a narcissistic person has some moments when they see about other people, but from the general or expression of it, of narcissism, the social psychologists and all of the analysts, they they feel that they are extremely uncaring, extremely, and then some of us who may be narcissistic maybe just have the narcissistic characteristics and not be actually narcissistic, which is probably a person like myself. I'm not one, but when I look at some of the things that I've done in the past, I kind of think maybe that character was stronger than I had was able to see. So it's good to be able to look at oneself and see where we are, because we are constantly growing organisms, I believe, And so, because, like I said, even at this late stage, there's some things I'm just learning, and I'm almost shocked, So, if you're a person who always want to do better, and I like doing well, I love being in excellent, working on becoming excellent, and I think that. The narcissistic, they are narcissistic ones are sometimes focused in their head and not 100% aware of what they are doing to themselves as well as others, because if you know, like I know, you know that when you're hurting others, you actually hurt yourself more, you know. And I know some people probably think that's a difficult thing to see or understand. How could I be hurting someone else? I mean, hurting myself when it's actually aimed out toward others or another individual. And what it is like in the long run, that will probably be a separate topic, because that one is, there's a lot to it to explain how one hurts themselves more than they do others, because most of the time people do not see that, and you cannot feel that, but psychological pain, what's going on the inside of people, can be so much stronger than what we see going on outside. And that's one of the reasons why I agree with uh, philosophers and the ones who say that or believe that when we hurt others, we hurt ourselves more. So that's pretty much all I want to say to you today, is that becoming aware of narcissism, because it's been given a really bad rap. The ones who speak of narcissism, that, constantly there are teams of people who are renaming behaviors and characteristics of individuals, and they labels it well, stamps it. And sometimes I think they don't consider even the smallest little things that are positive in a person, so that they label them, like my movie that I watched, Witchblade. I love that movie. And don't ask me the character's name. You'll have to look this one up, because I thought about that I would mention them, but I didn't really. All of my tapes, my videos are just impromptu. Just as I don't know what I like about that. Maybe it's a laziness. I don't know. But it just seems to me I can communicate from my heart and my spirit and my soul when I just do it without doing a lot of this and doing a lot of that, because I'm constantly studying and researching and all of that. And then when I write something down, when I try to say it, it doesn't come out the way that I wrote it. Even when there are jokes that I know and I'm laughing at something, when I tell it, it doesn't come out the way it came in my head. That made me laugh hysterically. That I'm mispresenting it as the way that it came to me. So it doesn't come out quite as funny. You know what I mean? But anyways, and this, it just kind of went through my head, mostly the narcissism, because there are, I see a lot of young people, a lot of them, that I heard some talking one day when I passed them at one of my jobs, and they were saying, oh, honey, he must care because he was acting so jealous. But according to the philosophers, theologians, or the ones who speak on narcissism, they brought it to my awareness, and I have several that I listen to and subscribe to on YouTube because they're very, very helpful to me. And besides that, what I counsel and experience myself, and so I heard the two say to each other. The one said, "Oh yes, honey, he must care," and I had to tell her, I said, "Honey, from my understanding, from what my counselors were saying, and coaches, and I would call some of their names, but I've noticed that when I call some people names, sometimes people hate that they are getting credit, or maybe they just want to get back at me. I don't know what it is. And I know some people think no one can hate me, but some people do. Some people hate you for no reason. Some people hate you because they don't understand you, all kinds of crazy stuff. And so there many times they target the ones that I speak of that I love, and I don't want that to happen, so I won't call their names, but I have several, and they're all different colors too, and a few females at that too, but mostly men, because men know about men when it's come to our relationship. But anyway, I told the young lady who was walking and saying that, oh honey, he must care because he had ghosted her or done something to that sound very much like a narcissistic person to me. And so I said, well, honey, I have to make you aware, share this with you, that sometimes when people are jealous or acting mean, they're actually just being controlling and being in themselves, in the sense that you are just property of a nature, like you sit over here and you wait till I need you, and I will summon you when I get ready for you. And unfortunately, I myself have been that way, not considering that this was just a mean way to be. It's not nice. So I try to make all of the guys that I know, all of them, because I don't, I'm not dating now, and it's not to get a boyfriend, but I let them know, look, I'm just being friendly, and I just want us, to be on a friend, ship thing, like family or brothers. Listen, like most guys just does, they just don't seem to understand, but some do, a lot of them, because there's some nice ones that do not have an ulterior motive of this is going to be my woman, or this is going to be something in my harem, or one more to add to my harem. They understand that people are people, and people like to be loved and respected as individuals, as human beings, not always as your toy, not always as someone to play with and enjoy when you have a spell. This time out for that. Time out for that. Now there's some people that whenever two wants to get together and it's just to play and have fun, that's your business. That's your business. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about serious people who have want things in life, people who are have goals and is set standard for themselves, you know. So, and not saying that no one has a standard because they want to play and have fun. They may have some type of standard that they've set in doing that, but I'm not one of them. I just put it like that. Even though in my younger days, I was a little promiscuous and misunderstood something and labored on wrong intentions and all kinds of stuff, because that's what young people sometimes do. But becoming aware of our life and what we want, and seeing ourselves for who we really are in our inside. Because our outside we can put on, and be polite and be nice and all of these things, while on the inside we may be, the Bible referred to as dead man bones, bones in the hand, bones, uh, hip bone connected to the, hip bone connected to the, what bone? The knee bone, I think, but bones like that. Um, so becoming aware of how we act, what do we extend toward others, and our drive to have what we want, then narcissism can raise its little ugly head when we are overly concerned about me, what it is that I want. It's, I'm not concerned about what he wants or what she wants. That's when you are, as if you had a scale here and you looked, like to say if this was 0 and you went all the way over here to left, how we are with our left and our rights. Then if you're going all the way from 0 here to all the way over here to left, negative, then you got to try to get back, line up here at least over to 1, 2, 3 or something. If it maybe even 5 or 6, 7, 8, 9, no 10 on out that way to the right. I'm just the scale could go vice versa. Well, I'm just using because 0 is a good number, a good integer to start with. Like starting from here to going to the left, from 0 to 1, 2, 3, like that, going that way. So if you are into yourself completely, then you may be going toward the left. You may be going toward the narcissistic domain. And to monitor it, we just have to think. Now, sometimes when we're doing things for others, we may not always feel it 100%, because sometimes when I'm doing it, I'm like, oh my God, I'm losing a lot of time trying to assist these people, trying to give it to them, take it to them, line up the time to get it to them, whatever it is that I'm doing, And, but you don't get me wrong, because sometimes we say things and we leave out some parts of it. And I'm not trying to do that, because I want you, everyone who is watching, who takes a minute to look at anything that I'm talking to you about, I want you to know you are extremely important. If you're not important, no one else has a right to be important if you're not important to yourself. So that's okay. But when our importance becomes to the place where it doesn't matter about the others as long as our importance has its place, that's when the place is gone over to that left, And I think that's about all I'm going to say about narcissism, but there's a lot more to it than what I am saying. The main thing is just to become aware of how we relate to others, and with consideration of ourselves, because the word says to love others as well as thyself. So if you do not love yourself, it's gonna be kind of hard to love everyone else, because love charity starts at home. Love starts right with yourself. It starts with those that your family and your neighbors and the people that you deal with on a regular basis. And sometimes it becomes a challenge to figure out, am I being a person who is that is considerate, kind to everybody, because when you want your stuff, it's like you want it, and you want it now, as one of the commercials says, and you're not really into figuring out that what you're doing with other people. But a lot of people is missing this one. They're missing. They always think about, well, especially in sometimes in the females, because I'm a female, so I know, this is all about me, mine, and how we gonna do. But what about his, and those things that he already committed to, has to do, and same to the male. Sometimes men they are more into just what they want for themselves and those that they've already been closer to. And so we have to consider that everybody should have their fair amount of love and attention and consideration, because everyone is important, and you don't know who you're going to need. And I mean need, not just want, before the time is out, before your mission on earth is completed. And with that said, I want you to have a very, very lovely, blessed day, each one of you. And thank you again for subscribing to my channel. Thank you for chiming in and giving little pointers here and there along the way. I really, really appreciate you. And if you think that I have something to share and that you would like to hear it and get caught up on each time that I'm doing a video, subscribe to my channel. You'll see it written in red. You tap it. There will be a bell. There are 3 different bells. One of the bells got 2 little things across the top that will keep you up to date with everything. I think there should be a line through one. There's another one. I'm not looking at it right now, so I can't tell you exactly what they look like, but there are 3 of them. And you just kind of keep looking until you find the one that's got the 2 little marks at the top, so you can keep update on things as the Lord give them to me. And like I said, I really appreciate you. Thank you for joining in. Have a blessed Monday. Bye-bye.